your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. Now, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
We are going to have a heck of a day, folks. It is snowing here in St. Louis, here in downtown St. Louis. They are starting to get the plows out, and they have been working on that this morning. But remember now, these side streets are a mess. They do the thoroughfares, the main thoroughfares in the city, and the side streets are going to be hard to navigate. Bottom line, stay off the roads, especially in this highly populated St. Louis City area, so that these plows can do their work. There's no reason to be out unless you have an emergency or you are expected to be at work or where you're supposed to be. It is not the greatest driving conditions right now, especially the way the freezing temperatures are right now, just sub-zero temperatures here in the St. Louis area. So just be careful out there. If you're in the county, you know what you see, you know how to get around those areas too, and certainly it is snow covered everywhere. I mean, there's no other way around it. So be very careful out there. And if you must be out, again, for emergency reasons, just go slow and keep your distance from these plows because they are out and trying to get everybody ready for tomorrow's morning rush. Joining us is the ESPN and SEC network broadcaster Tom Hart to lead off the show. And boy, what an entertaining one that was yesterday. Tom, how are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm cold, but I'm great. Yeah, that was that was a energetic game, and I think, Tom, the SEC this year is so incredibly competitive. That was a great example of how all of these games in the league, higher percentage than any other men's college basketball conference, more games in the SEC come down to the wire in the last possession than any other league, and that makes for an exciting brand of basketball.
No question. Trent Pierce hits the three from the logo to send it to overtime. It was a perfect shot, too. He squared up. He did exactly as you're taught, hand in the cookie jar, follow through, and bang, he drills it. And then in overtime, Mark Mitchell fires a bullet into the net, just beautiful, ridiculous at the same time shot from Mitchell off the inbound pass. He takes it and scores, and Missouri wins the game 88-87. Just absolutely thrilling. Before anything, though, let me ask you, up until then, who had played a better game, do you think, between Missouri and Oklahoma, two longtime rivals going back to the Big 8 days?
Gosh, it's a great question. I mean, they're so evenly matched, and Oklahoma has now lost 6 straight games, but I don't think their record reflects their talent. Porter Moser is an amazing coach. Of course, he took Loyola of Chicago to the Final Four in 18. I think it was dead even. I mean, Oklahoma's got a really good backcourt, and they have a forward named Tay Davis who did a great job defensively on Missouri's guards. He's got really good length. And Theo Barrett, by the way, from Missouri, who's an Oklahoma kid. He's from Oklahoma City. His mom played soccer at OU. Got his first start of the season, and he played sensationally throughout the entire game. So I'll just go by the numbers, and they said it at the end of regulation because we went to overtime that it was a push. I mean, I didn't think, Tom, sometimes you get those games that are, oh, my gosh, we outplayed them, but they made a couple lucky shots or the ball bounced their way. I think that was a dead even contest.
Yeah, what a game it was, and what a finish at the end of regulation and at the end of overtime. I mean, Mark Mitchell, for my money, is one of the best players in the country. 25 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists. He leads in all categories. It's fitting that he sends them to the locker room victorious, Tom.
He came over after the game, and we were getting ready to do the post-game interview, and he said, man, that felt good. I needed it, a little atonement after what happened earlier, because towards the end of regulation, he got a great look on the baseline from about 5 feet away and missed it. And you're right. He's one of the best players in college basketball. And my partner John Sunvold said this on the broadcast, he's the most dependable player in the SEC. You know what you're going to get from him every night. And Mike White, the Georgia coach, had told us earlier in the week that even on his bad nights, he has a terrible night, he's going to give you 18 and 6. And that reliability is something that coaches absolutely adore in their great players. He played really well throughout the game. I thought Oklahoma made a couple of mistakes on that last play. Number one, turn him. He received the inbounds pass, and he was just full head of steam and went right down the right side, and nobody got in his way. Nobody was able to turn him around. But we've seen what can happen if you're a Missouri fan at 4.8 seconds. Hello, Tyus Edney. And that's how much time was left on the clock when Mark Mitchell got the inbounds and then screamed up the court. We know it can happen quickly.
Absolutely. Tom Hart is with us. Last thing, Tom, I was so impressed with Dennis Gates, how he came back and beat Florida after getting annihilated by Illinois in the bragging rights game. They had a long time to think about that, but also to prepare, and they beat Florida. But what do you make of the team? They're 4-3 in the SEC. Just for those who haven't been following along as closely, won at Kentucky, lost at Ole Miss, won at home against Auburn, lost at LSU, and then the close loss at home against Georgia. Now this one. What kind of a team are Tigers fans dealing with here?
I've seen them at their best, I think. So I don't mean to look at it through gold-colored glasses, but aside from the Kansas loss, which I saw in Kansas City, and that was a bit of a no-show, and we all know what happened with the Illinois game. I had them at Lexington. I had their win against Florida. And by the way, the value of that Florida win just keeps going up because the defending national champions continue to win. I was here for the Georgia game on Tuesday, which was a last possession game, and then this one. I think they're showing more consistency, and they're doing it by getting the right guys on the floor. Trent Pierce, of course, he hit the big one last night, but he's such a threat at 6'10". You saw the form. He's a great shooter. He can be an elite shooter, and with that size, he goes right over the top of people. But getting Jaden Stone back, which happened right after the Illinois game, and getting him back and being a leader and being a scorer and a go-to guy has made a monster of a difference for this team. They still make a lot of mistakes. Some of the personnel don't fit great together. But when they have their best offensive lineup on the floor, which they had at the end of the game, that can produce points with anybody. And I'm just curious to see if going forward, because they got a tough stretch of games coming up, starting with Alabama, does he try to turn the tempo up a little bit and become more of an offensive team and maybe take some risks on the offensive end at the cost of having a better defensive team out there? It's a tough league, and they've got to find a way to continue to win close games, 1-for-1 and one possession games this week.
Tom, great call yesterday. It was awesome. Really entertaining game. Appreciate you joining us on KMOX as always. If it's a big game, I want Tommy calling it, and I want him on KMOX if we can get him. I appreciate you.
It's so nice of you. Thanks, stay warm today.
You too. Tom Hart, SEC Network and ESPN. He had the call yesterday on ESPN too, as Mizzou beat Oklahoma in overtime on a buzzer beater, 88-87. When we come back, the voice of the Illini, Brian Barnhart, they had an even better win. They went into West Lafayette and came out with a W with an historic performance by their freshmen. Back in a moment on Sports on a Sunday morning from the Stiefel Sports Studio.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. It's a great time to buy a brand new home, and Cottleville Trails has everything you've been looking for. Located at Highway 364 in Guttermouth, you will love the 5 lakes, pools, playground, and Francis Howell schools. It's a community where you know your neighbors. Take your golf court or walk the trails to downtown Cottleville for coffee, dinner, or lunch at Menino's Market, my new favorite sandwich shop. Visit McKelveyHomes.com. It's time to move up to McKelvey.
This is Corey from Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. There's never a good time for your heating system to stop working. If yours does, no matter what time or day, Air Comfort Service offers 24/7 emergency HVAC service. Contact our award-winning team for 5-star heating service and stay in your comfort zone. For heating and 24/7 emergency service, contact Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation at aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Let's go!
You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code RAIN to get up to a $5 per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code RAIN to get up to a $5 per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code RAIN.
Paramount Plus is the new home of UFC, and we're coming out swinging with UFC 324.
Oh, what a shot!
And 325. Boom! On back-to-back weekends, the new era is here.
It's time!
Every fight.
Bam!
Yes! One subscription.
Oh my goodness!
Pay-per-view just got knocked out.
Let's go!
Back-to-back blockbuster UFC events this month, only on Paramount Plus.
Another app for inventory, one for CRM. Oh, don't forget accounting. Wait, which login was that?
Or you could use Odoo, one fully integrated system that does it all without the hassle. Ditch the app overload. Get everything your business needs on one platform. Try Odoo free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com. Now, back to the Great Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
Wow, Keaton Wagler, what an incredible performance by the Illinois freshman, joining us after an 88-82 win at Mackey Arena. Number 11, Illinois. They're going to move up tomorrow. You can be assured of that. The voice of the Illini, Brian Barnhart, joins us on KMOX. Brian, how you doing?
Hey, Tom, how are you?
Doing great. I bet you're doing well after that. What an incredible... I watched it. And I'm watching Wagler knock down these threes just unconscious. He actually took a heat check from like NBA beyond NBA range, I think, and missed it short. But he was bombing threes, scored the first 14 of the game. And if you turned away and came back to the game later, you shouldn't be surprised that he ended with 46. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, it really was one of the great performances I've seen. When you think about it, we had, Brandon Paul, I think, scored 43 about 13 years ago, but that was at home, and this was at Mackey Arena, and you know how tough it is to win in there. And we needed him early, especially because Purdue was shooting. I think they made 14 of their first 18 shots or something like that. It was something ridiculous. And it was allowed Illinois to hang around there early in a tough environment. And the thing that our guys talked about afterwards, all of us that cover the team and the coaches, and was how easy he made it look. I mean, he was just, it wasn't like he was out there flailing away and throwing in, Hail Mary shots. He was just stroking it in and just wasn't missing. And he got a little tired at the end, and his teammates had to step up and hit some shots. In fact, I was told that they took a timeout with about, 5 minutes to go exclusively to let Keaton get his legs back a little bit, because he was he was getting pretty worn out by the end. But it was a remarkable game to watch.
It was. I remember when I was in college at Indiana, and Sean Respert came in for Michigan State and went absolutely nuts on IU. Similarly, he was bombing threes. He was doing whatever he wanted out there. He was unconscious. I think he scored 40-something points in the game at Assembly Hall. A 6'1" guard back in the day, Sean Respert. This Wagler's put together. I mean, he's 6'6". He can get to the bucket. He can shoot the three. He is something special. I mean, how did Illinois make connections with him, and what has he been like?
Well, as you know, I think the key anytime is relationships. They got in pretty early, but they did a great job building that relationship out there. But, I think he had two high offers, Tom. I think Minnesota and Illinois. So I don't know if he was not in the right, AAU circuit, or I don't know. I don't know how he slipped through the radar, but we're just glad he did. I can tell you that, he was on the list. Brandon Lee's another freshman, and David Mirkovic coming in from overseas. And, there were some people talking about the young players, but we started hearing in the fall out of, practice that wait till you see this Wagler kid. He's really doing special stuff. And you're like, really? He's just a freshman. We didn't hear that much about him, coming out of high school. And, he had, and you kept waiting. We've had other freshmen early in the year that have flashed and then kind of hit that freshman wall, as you know, Tom. And he just never has. I mean, he looks unflappable. He never gets rattled. He plays with not cockiness, but confidence. And just all of that came together yesterday at Mackey Arena in one of the, the second highest all-time, tied with Andy Kaufman for the second most points in a game ever, and he blew away several freshman records yesterday as well.
Boy, Kaufman used to light it up too. Shawnee Mission Northwest for Wagler. That's Kansas City. So KU misses out, Mizzou misses out, and Illinois it cashes in on Wagler. He is special, but this Illinois team is special. I mean, I've been saying it all year, Brian, and I'm sure you have. They are a legitimate Final Four threat. They're currently in a three-way tie for second place in the Big Ten with Michigan and Michigan State. Nebraska leads the way right now, still unbeaten. I mean, what has Brad Underwood done roster construction-wise to have this special team? I think this might be his best one.
Well, I think it could be, yeah, and it's you're right. I think just the ability of he and his staff, Jeff Alexander, Orlando Antigua, built their relationships overseas with the guys from the Balkans, certainly. And they've done a great job with that. The positional size, ability to score, this is the number one now. It was yesterday. It was 1 versus 2 in offensive efficiency, Illinois against Purdue. And that's the kind of team I know that in this day and age, Brad loves to have. You got 2 7-footers who, not only can be rim protectors, especially Zvonimir Ivicic, but they can stretch the floor and they can shoot threes. And it's kind of a Rubik's Cube mix and match kind of team. You can, if this isn't working, you can play the 7'2" guys together. They've even pulled out a little bit of zone, which has been rare under Brad Underwood. They've mixed that in a little bit. Even without Kylan Boswell, Stojakovic scores 30 the other day. It's not just one guy. It's a really versatile team, and they have the ability, and Brad talks about this all the time, what can you do when the ball isn't going in the basket, which doesn't happen a lot for Illinois, but in games where they haven't shot it great, they've played great defense, or they've won the battle of the rebounds by a wide margin. And that helped them yesterday against Purdue. They had a huge margin in rebounds and offensive rebounds during that game. So it's a team that is versatile. It's deep. They can do a lot of different rotations and try different things, and I think that's what makes them so dangerous. And really, Tom, the Missouri game, because we had lost to Nebraska, remember? That was the last loss at home. And Nebraska's really good, but we didn't play very good defense that day. And Brad had a stretch with the Missouri game in there, about the only game in about 12 days. And they went to work on defense in practice and emphasized it. And if you look at their numbers defensively since the Nebraska loss, it's off the charts, what they've done defensively. So they had trouble stopping Purdue early, but Purdue's really good on offense. But the combination of those two being very top, and there's a lot of metrics out there, as you know, that you can get busy with, but they're at the top of the nation in offensive efficiency, and I think top 20 in defensive efficiency. And when you look at Final Four teams, those numbers are where you have to be to make a run.
Absolutely. I remember that loss to Nebraska and thinking, oh, this is not good for Missouri. This is really, really not good for Mizzou. They're going to be ready to go for that game. He will not be pleased with that, and they shut it down. And they've been great. And you're right. I mean, Purdue's excellent. Purdue's an excellent team. That is a very, very difficult place to play. And you got the win, and now who knows what's ahead for you. I mean, Washington is your next game. You got that game at Nebraska on the 1st that everybody will circle. That's going to be fun. You still go to Michigan State. By the way, I should mention that I do have the assignment with Compass where I'm going to have the Indiana game on the 15th. So I'll be knocking on your little spot there to ask you how you see this team. I can't wait to see you in person on the 15th.
Well, that'll be awesome. Yeah, that'll be great. And I know a lot of national broadcasts start rolling in January and February usually. So we'll be thrilled to have you, Tom. That'll be great. And it'll be fun to watch this team play because they do still have, and Purdue ran into this a little bit, we still have the trip to USC and UCLA yet in the middle of February, and that was not easy for Purdue. They wound up splitting 2 games out there, so they got to get through that too. But you're right, at Michigan State, at Nebraska, those are huge. But if you're going to win a Big Ten title, you got to win a game like you did yesterday to keep yourself right there with the leaders. And Illinois is certainly in that upper tier of the Big Ten.
That was a tremendous win. Congratulations to you and everybody there on a great call as Illinois beats Purdue 88-82 in West Lafayette. Brian, it's always great having you on KMOX. Thanks for doing it.
Well, you're very welcome, Tom, and congratulations to your Hoosiers.
I appreciate it.
Football.
Yeah. Still glowing, my friend. Still glowing.
Yeah, I bet.
We'll catch up soon. I appreciate that very
Tom.
much. Brian Barnhart, such a kind, great friend to the radio station for many years. The voice of the Fighting Alliance. The Billikens will be with us. Josh Schertz on Sports on a Sunday morning from the Stiefel Sports Studio.
You know Gray Bar for electrical parts. But there's one more thing you may not be thinking of us for that can help maximize your next project's total value. Our pre-project planning services are designed to help you win the bid, save on labor costs, and keep your installers productive across your entire build. The sooner you call us, the better. Because when we're there from the beginning, we can anticipate your needs and help you solve problems before they become problems. Yep, Gray Bar does that.
This is John Pertzborn with Ben and Gentry for HeatUpSt.Louis.org.
We're the Golden Boys!
For the 26th Rise and Shine benefit.
It's Friday, February 13th.
Your lucky day to volunteer.
Or buy a sausage or egg biscuit for $1.
At participating area Hardee's.
It's HeatUpStLouis.org to also pre-order. That's HeatUp, stlbluis.org.
Put the biscuits down, Ben.
Oi!
St. Louis has a voice.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history.
This is Harry Carey from the beautiful new Busch Memorial Stadium.
From moment to memory.
The chase is on.
Among those voices, Bruce Bradley.
I felt better when Jimmy Carter was president, knowing that Rosalind Carter was around saying, "Now, Jimmy."
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
KMOX Weekend at your service. Sponsored by Air Comfort Service, Heating, Cooling, and Installation.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors. Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
Discover how you can make unforgettable memories with a home equity line of credit from Royal Banks of Missouri. Whether you're dreaming of a winter family getaway, planning your next home renovation project, or considering an investment in your education goals, a home equity line of credit is a flexible and convenient option to fund life's most memorable moments on your schedule. Our local bankers are here to help you achieve your short and long-term financial goals. Call 314-212-1500. That's 314-212-1500. Visit us online at royalbanksofmo.com or stop by a Royal Banks location near you for more details on how you can tap into your home's equity and get the most out of its current value. Investing in our communities, one client at a time. Royal Banks of Missouri, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Now, back to the Great Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stiefel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
Behind the back pass to Sharma, fadeaway three. Oh, instant Sharma. Are you kidding me? Bang, instant Sharma is going to get you. Left corner three, Sharma, bang. Ish, got another one.
Rammer with Earl giggling in the background on KMOX. A win for SLU. They knocked off St. Bonaventure, and it was a heck of a win, 97-62. The head coach of the Billikens is Josh Schertz. I love those calls so much. And, the other thing, we were just talking about Keaton Wagler and just raving about the fact that he knocked down 9 threes yesterday for Illinois at Purdue. That's how many Sharma had. 9 threes for the Billikens guard. Amazing.
Yeah, how about that? Keaton was obviously, ironically, a guy we thought we were getting here. So coming out of Kansas City, but what a great player he is, and what a great game he had yesterday. But how about Ish? 29 points in 24 minutes, 9 made threes. We've seen it a number of times in practice. He's obviously shot the ball well. I mean, he's had 5 threes in a game, I think, a couple times this year. But we've seen those ignitable days where when he gets going, man, it's unlike anything I've ever seen in terms of he can string, 8, 9, 10 in a row in live play, which is just so hard to do. And then the degree of difficulty wasn't like he was, out there playing horse. I mean, he's flying off stuff and body moving and he's able to flip his hips and, the ability to shoot off movement and how quick the release is, and then being 6'6" doing it. There's a lot of factors that go into it, but he's a special player, and great to see him, get going like that.
He had 29 points. You can just see the confidence every game in which he plays. He loves taking that shot right in front of you, in front of the bench, a little Steph Curry-like, sort of on the run. Now, I see him all the time when I get to the arena about 2 hours before tip. He's the first one out there shooting every time. He's always out there shooting, but I don't see him practicing that one. That's a heck of a shot.
No, he works on. I mean, he is unbelievably consistent in the invisible spaces. In terms of what he does. I mean, the work he does in the invisible spaces, and the stuff I see, and I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that I don't see. That he does, and it's just so impressive. And our player development staff, Phil Gaetano and Alex Peebler and those guys. I mean, they're working on, the movement shooting, and, it's a huge part of what we do offensively. Gibson, Jimerson was somebody last year who got really good at doing it, flying off stuff and flipping his hips. It's not natural for guys, but some guys can do it, and we're lucky. We have 3 guys that can really do it at a pretty good level. When you look at Ish, you look at Trey Green, you look at Brady Dunlap. All 3 of those guys are capable of flying off, and those shots, as you said, they're a very high degree of difficulty to be sprinting full speed and be able to turn your body. But I don't think I've had anybody do it as fluidly as Ishan Sharma in my career.
That was some performance. I mean, under 8 timeout, you're up 40-13 against the Bonnies, and you win the game 97-62. I heard you after the LaSalle game. You were not pleased with how that game closed. What was practice like the days leading up to this St. Bonaventure game? Because it was a short turnaround.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. That I was so impressed with our mental toughness. I mean, you think about that. The St. Bonaventure game was our 4th game in 10 days. If you go to, if you go back to Fordham and you pale out 10 days, we played 4 games in 10 days. We were on the road because of the week-long trip when we went, VCU, LaSalle, and then obviously Duquesne and St. Bonaventure. I think we spent 13 of 18 days on the road, or 12 of 18, something like that. So to have the mental toughness to put on that kind of performance at the end of that time, I mean, the league didn't do us any favors scheduling-wise. And, so super impressed with that. I think, we left the Duquesne game Wednesday. We stayed in Pittsburgh, and really it was a very we don't practice the day after games. We do, neck-up days. We watch film, the game. We installed and talked a little bit about, St. Bonaventure. Mainly we just talked as a team and what happened, why it happened, why'd we, how'd we get away from our identity? Why couldn't we course correct it in real time? It's not possible to play your best, 40 minutes every game of the season. It's not humanly possible. It's not possible for an individual, not possible for a team, but normally we've been pretty good about course correcting in real time and getting back to our identity pretty quickly. We didn't in that game. And so there was I thought there was great ownership, great accountability. We went over to Pittsburgh University and we walked through the basic game plan for what was going to be with St. Bonaventure. And then we left and we Thursday, we practiced at St. Bonaventure. I thought we had a really spirited, good practice, good preparation. And then we put it on the court, on Friday. And so, it wasn't anything where we, went in and other than, like ultimately, the group is very ambitious. They're very competitive. They have high standards. They have a high level of accountability for each other. And, and they want to be great. And when you have that as a coach, it's just harnessing it. And it doesn't mean you're going to be great every time. Doesn't mean you're going to play your best perpetually. Like I said, it's not possible. But I had no doubts that we would respond the right way, and we did. We obviously came out and I think played as good a game, complete game as we had all season, but I thought we were really good, in that same vein against Richmond, and so it's really been, I think we're trending in a good direction. Duquesne game notwithstanding, and then Duquesne had a lot to do with, us not playing well as well. I thought Duquesne was really good that night. They were super sharp and really played well and brought a level of physicality that we weren't ready to match.
Yeah, I don't know. They were, and they won 81-77. After that game, you said that we did some things that would make a grade school team embarrassed. And I was like, oh boy. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah.
There was a comedy of errors down the stretch of how not to play basketball. And, from bonehead turnovers, the insult for the ball, we were fortunate. I mean, look, Duquesne missed a couple layups and a couple wide open threes, and otherwise we lose the game, and then it's a different feeling. But I think the guys absorbed, we talk a lot about, like I said, you can't get drunk off outcomes if you're a player or coach. You can as fans, media, everybody else can, the way it generally works is you win and everything's perfect. You lose, the sky's falling. And that's fine, but it can't be internally. And I think they internalize, what happened, why it happened. And we got a 12-point lead, with 4 minutes to play. I mean, as bad as it was up and down. We had a 12-point lead with 4 minutes to play. And we did everything from, fouling, turning the ball over, missing a bunch of free throws. I mean, you name it. We checked the box there in the last 4 minutes to give Duquesne a great chance to win. And fortunately, they weren't able to capitalize. We came up. Brady makes 2 huge free throws. Dion gets a big rebound, makes a free throw, and we escape. But we have higher standards for ourselves in terms of how we want to play. And I think, like I said, the guys had great ownership. On Wednesday, we met as a team. I let them do a lot of talking, and they really, almost everybody on the team stepped up and said something. And I thought it was great because they really challenged each other to be better, and that's what you want.
With George Mason's loss yesterday to Rhode Island, you're now at the top of the A-10 with a 7-0 record. You'll play George Washington on Tuesday, and while they've dropped 3 games in conference, as well as anybody, they are very dangerous. So they lost to George Mason on the road by only 5, and they just handed it to Richmond, a team that you handled quite well also. So this should be some game here on Tuesday night at Chaffetz.
Yeah, I think by far, so to this point, the best team we've played at home all year. Chris has a really good team. I think their record is, doesn't do justice for how good they are. They're right there with us as I think the top offensive teams in the league in terms of efficiency. They're elite offensive team. They got, maybe the best player in the league in Castro, 6'11" kid who's just an absolute stud on both ends of the floor. Got terrific guard play. I think they made 10 or 11 threes in the first half against Richmond yesterday. They're super explosive. They're really athletic. They're long. They can be super disruptive defensively. I'd be shocked if they're not a double bye team and a team that's competing for the Atlantic 10 championship. It's a quad 2. With the net, a quad 2 home game. I think they're right around 70, but they'll be higher than that. They'll be. I think they'll finish. Somewhere, higher than that in terms of the net. So it's a big game, big opportunity for us, but a big challenge. And, but they're really, really good on both ends of the floor. It'll be, like I said, to this point, without question in my mind, we've got some good teams in Grand Canyon, San Francisco, et cetera, league teams. But that'll be the best team we played on our home floor this year.
We'll have it on KMOX tomorrow. Tuesday, Rammer and Earl will have it. And Troy, Tamar, and I will have it on TV, so we're looking forward to that big night. I was reading Stu Durando does a good job on Substack, and I was reading his story, so I want to make sure that I cite him on this about how you've been disruptive defensively, but you'd like to create and force more turnovers. Can you? I read it, but for those who haven't read it, maybe verbalize that for us as to what you're aiming for there and how you do that.
Yeah, I think, anytime you're looking at, basketball, I think one thing, probably the stat that drives winning the most, is certainly, shot quantity, right? Like who gets more shots? I mean, it really probably more than any other statistical analysis, drives who wins. And there's 4 mechanisms, to generate an advantage in shot quantity. And that's obviously, your ability to take care of the ball, low turnovers, forcing turnovers, the opponent, and then offensive rebounding and your defensive rebounding. And, you want to create advantages in the possession game. And, our turnovers have been pretty good. We've not turned the ball over a ton. We've been really good. I think for the most part, Duquesne notwithstanding, a lot of that was late. We've been really good inside the games of battling the basketball, taking care of it. We've been a good defensive rebounding team, one of the best in the country. I think we lead the country in defensive rebounds per game, and our percentage is pretty high. I think, the area that we've really struggled in the most of those 4 is forcing turnovers and being more disruptive defensively, but doing it with discipline. You're not trying to disrupt and get out of position and give up layups or trap people and give up wide open threes or foul. We've obviously got to dial that back. Want to be physical, but appropriately physical. And so it's an area, as we get to the back part of the schedule, that we think is something we can be more disruptive with discipline, create more steals. And there's a variety of ways to do that without trapping, whether that's, being better with our ball pressure, being better with our gaps, being better with our rips, being better with our rotations, being much better with our hands in terms of deflections and swarming the ball. And, so there's areas that we have to continue to improve in. And to me, probably the top of the list defensively is forcing turnovers because we're number 1 in the country in field goal defense, number 1 in the country in effective field goal defense. So we're forcing misses, which is ultimately, in the day, what you want to do. But, we need to, I think our ability, we're so good in transition. Can we create a few more turnovers per game? And it's something we're really honing in on with our guys and trying to get better at. And it's something we think here down the stretch could, potentially flip some games. So we have to be better in the possession game. End of the day, Duquesne in that game just particularly, they got 17 offensive rebounds. We got 9, so they had 8 more possessions there. They turned it over 12 times. We turned it over 16 times. So they had 4 more possessions there. So if you look at that game, Duquesne had 12 more possessions than we did. And, and to win a game where you're minus 12 in possessions is almost impossible. So we did it, but it's not something we want to live in. And it's an area, we got to continue to work on if we're going to, do what we want to do in terms of what we hope to accomplish.
What a week this is going to be. GW on Tuesday, Dayton on Friday at Chaffetz Arena. Josh Schertz, the head coach of the Billikens, with us. Let's get this snow cleared out of here so we can get a packed house on Tuesday night at Chaffetz. It's going to be a fun one, Coach.
It'll be a blast. Should be a really good game. Like I said, 2 really up-tempo teams. I think watching them, all the other 13 teams in the league, they're the best offensive team, hardest to guard, and will be a great game for fans who like good basketball. Should be, like you said, an amazing week. We're welcoming GW Dayton, 2 monster games for us. Hopefully, fans will be turned up and out, and like I said, that place will be rocking. And we know when that place is loud, there's no harder place in the A-10 to play. I know there's some hard places to play, but I would take Chaffetz over any of them when it's turned up.
I agree. Can't wait to see you Tuesday. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it. See you Tuesday night.
Our visits with Josh Schertz, sponsored by Royal Banks of Missouri. That's our Billikens Report. It's 10:45. When we come back, our Blues breakdown on KMOX, and then another hour to go from the Stifel Sports Studio.
This is Megan Lynch. 250 doctors go to Ophthalmology Associates. That's why I trust them. Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Looking on the bright side to this weekend's weather, more time to stay inside and read. St. Louis Public Library's got you covered with millions of books, and you don't even have to leave the house. Their digital library lets lets you download books, audiobooks, movies, music, newspapers, databases, and so much more. St. Louis Public Library partners with me on Facebook on our Book Chat with Debbie Monterey group, where you can get book recommendations, engage with other readers, and watch my latest author interviews. So join today. St. Louis Public Library, St. Louis's original search engine, stlpl.org.
Playoff mode is on with FanDuel right now. All customers get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day, and that's been going on for a while now. So during the championship round on Sunday, you're going to find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you right there in the FanDuel app. More boosts means more ways to lift up your playoff bets. Pick the matchups you believe in. Go with the underdog. Maybe put together a parlay if you're really feeling it. Personally, I like the Seahawks to win at home. They are favored there. Then you can apply your profit boosts, go after even bigger payouts with FanDuel as the playoffs have been rolling. Go to FanDuel.com/Missouri. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri. Get your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. 21 plus and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Extreme cold weather coming in through St. Louis this mid-January probably. If you're having issues with your furnace, give me a call. If you were told you need a new furnace, without a question, give me a call. You'll be happy you did. We're all the same when it comes to like buying a furnace and air conditioner, just like with pretty much anything else. If you're like me, I want a furnace that heats, and in the heat of summer, I want an air conditioner that works. Pretty much simple. So is a more high-efficient air conditioner or more high-efficient furnace give me more heat, more cooling? No, it doesn't at all. It gives you the exact same. So with that being said, you need to call me. Bart Inman, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Again, 314-293-2600, or you can do the online thing, and it's Bart Inman, Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Now, back to the Great Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
Before we break down the Blues, just a few comments that are coming in here on our Sports on a Sunday Morning comment line, YouTube, X, Facebook. Aaron said he'll be back around 11:30 for Chaim. That's cool. We appreciate that. If you're only here for the baseball, it's totally fine with me. Ed says, good morning from Miami. What's up, buddy? How are you? Dad. Not my dad, but I call him Dad. He calls me second son. I call him Dad. Love Ed Curtis. Love me some Ed Curtis. KT says, hi, it's Sunday, January 25th. Do the Cardinals have someone who can hit 20-plus home runs yet? Yes, they have 3, as I told you last week. Ivan Herrera, Alec Burleson, and maybe Nolan Gorman, 3 right there who can hit 20. Beyond that, your guess is as good as mine. Congratulations to the Hoosiers, says Eric Edgar. I appreciate it, Eric. It was an amazing experience. I loved every second of it. Absolutely has been an incredible run for this team. Good luck to your Illini the rest of the way. I'm a big fan of those Illini fans. They've been good to me through the years. They are, and that is an excellent, excellent basketball team. I mean, really, really good. I see a few little bickering arguments going on in here. Here's Peter. Peter, we love you, buddy. Peter Nydorf. Hope you're staying safe and warm, he said, from the winter weather. I drove down here, Peter, but otherwise I would suggest people stay off the roads. They are definitely not drivable. I'll say what I said in the beginning of the show. Don't go out today unless you absolutely have to. Just give the plows room to do their thing. Not to mention, in case people do get in crashes, we need the first responders to be able to get to them. So if you can, stay off the road. You're doing a great help and service to the community if you do that. So the Blues last night did draw, I think, in the neighborhood of 4,000 fans at Enterprise Center, if I have that right. Maybe more than that is what I heard, probably more than that. But it was a light crowd because of the weather. The weather was rough, sub-zero and snowing, but the fans came out to see the Blues, and the Blues put on a show for them. It just didn't end up the way they like, and they've had a rough year. The Blues lost the game 5-4 in a shootout to the Kings. The Blues got off to a tough start. They fell behind 2-0 in this one, but then climbed back. Dvorsky scored. Shen scored. Dvorsky has 9 goals already. Shen has 10, the captain on a power play goal at 6:30 of the second period. Then Jordan Kyrou scored his 10th of the season as well. He needs more than that, but he was hurt a little bit. 3-2, the Blues take the lead. But the Kings tied it at the end of the second. The teams traded goals in the third period, with Kyrou scoring his 11th of the season at the 17:50 mark of the third period. That was after Trevor Moore gave the Kings a 4-3 lead, and then it was Moore who scored the winner in the shootout after Dvorsky kept him alive in the third round. It was Moore who scored in the fourth round. Jimmy Snuggerud was saved, and that was the end of the game. Darcy Kemper beats Joel Hofer, and the Blues lose 5-4 in a shootout to the LA Kings. Here's Coach Jim Montgomery after the game.
I did not like our first 10 minutes of the game. I thought they vastly started the game a lot better than we did. Their forwards were skating, and we were getting caught from behind. We had too many turnovers at the red line. And then I thought in the second period we came out and we started skating ourselves. We got a little more physical, started winning more battles. And you could say we're playing North really well. Love the play, the Dvorsky goal, and then a high-end play on the power play too. And then we get that third goal because we're playing North. And I love the fact that I see a young Logan Mailloux up at the red line when 17 has the puck in the middle of the ice. That's his confidence growing there. And he makes a good play to Ruzi, and Kyrou had a really good game. Third period, I thought we had a lot of opportunities early, and then they got that goal, and we challenged it for offsides. They changed the wording of the rule book, and I got to get confirmation from the league. But it reads both skates need to be on the player's tape. Both skates need to be on the neutral zone side of the blue line, so the leading edge. And we saw 1-1. And the year before, it did not say both skates needed to be. So we need to get clarification. I talked to the linesmen. They were great. They explained to me that it's no doubt, in their mind, it's 1 foot. So I just need to, lawyers write the books for rule books, and I don't think like a lawyer. And obviously a lawyer would love facing me in court. But I talk hockey. And both skates to me means 2. And that's why I thought Elliott did a great job, because the rule had changed. I was unaware of the rule change, or not rule change, but the wording change. So to us, if you change the wording, it's because you want both skates versus 1 skate. And we just got to get clarification on that.
Yeah, they came back with the decision pretty quickly and just assumed that it was going to be offside. Usually when you challenge for offside, you're pretty solid in your convictions, I guess, on that.
We were solid because we had the rule book right open there in the back office. And it's just, again, reading the language that's wrote by lawyers, it's like when I buy a house, I don't know what they're talking about until I see the percentages and what the final number is going to be for my mortgage.
I feel like just the way you had the attack mindset when you pulled Hofer, be able to get the time there.
That was really good to see that execution. The Shen line went out right after the timeout, and there was 2:43 left. They got a icing, and there's 2:06 left, and that's good. The other team's tired. They got 30 seconds there. Bucci wins the draw. We go right to the spread that we wanted to. And I love the play by Dvorsky. Dvorsky sends it in there. Kyrou's on the back door. All the execution we wanted to create a little bit of havoc and chaos at their net. And that happened. And then we got the loose puck and went up top, and we brought it right back to the net. We got that good rebound goal. And it's just unfortunate, Would have been great if we won the game on Dvorsky's breakaway. That would have really capped off a really solid hockey effort by our team. There's some things defensively that we need to clean up again. You can't be happy anytime you give up 4 goals.
Do you see his confidence growing?
I see Dvorsky, Snuggeruds, Mailloux, Stenbergs, Berggrens. I see all those guys' confidence starting to come. They're starting to feel the puck a lot better.
A couple guys that I talked to in the locker room just said, because you've been in the last 3 games, you're right there. It's just puck management, game management, maybe the fine line right?
Yeah, there's just certain parts, like the end of the second period, like, there's 17 seconds left. We get the puck in the neutral zone, and we go 2 men. Like, that's okay if F1 has pressure, but there was no pressure. And then we get the puck in the middle of the ice, and we ice it with 5 seconds left for a face-off in our own end with 2.8. You never know what can happen. Shen wins the face-off, so it's a moot point, but sometimes it's not, like last night.
That is Jim Montgomery, the head coach of the St. Louis Blues, after a 5-4 shootout loss to the LA Kings. Last 3 games, they lost at Dallas 3-2. They lost at Winnipeg 3-1. They lost at Edmonton 5-0. That's 4 straight losses for the Blues, who had a pattern of winning at home and losing on the road in the month of January until it was broken yesterday. That was 4 straight home wins snapped yesterday by the Kings. They'll play the Stars Tuesday night at Enterprise Center, and the Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers on Thursday night at Enterprise, and they have a game Saturday at home as well against the Columbus Blue Jackets as they have this flurry of games before they wrap up for the Olympics. We'll take a break. When we come back, a big 11 o'clock hour on KMOX.
St. Louis, are you ready to go Hardy?
I woke up on the wrong side of the truck bed.
The country rock hitmaker behind Truck Bed. Wait in the truck and one beer. He's bringing his No Holds Barred live show to Hollywood Casino Amphitheater June 5th. With special guests Cameron Whitcomb and McCoy Moore. Hardy, live, loud, and unapologetic. One night only. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
Save big on everything for your next project now at Menards. Upgrade your home with Floors of Distinction laminate flooring. It's easy to install and durable enough to handle an active household. The Woodruff Series is a waterproof laminate flooring that features an attached pad for sound reduction and added comfort. On sale today for $229 a square foot. Good through February 8th. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for other great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now, but I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code RAIN to get up to a $5 per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code RAIN to get up to a $5 per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code RAIN.
Let's ring in the new year by finally checking off something that actually matters. Your old videotapes and photos are fading more every year. VCRs are disappearing, and the clock is ticking to save your family's most important memories. Hi, I'm Adam Baselogger.
And I'm Nick Mako. We started Legacy Box to help you preserve your memories by converting all your videotapes, photos, and film reels into digital files. And this year, it's easier than ever.
Introducing our biggest kit yet, able to hold up to 80 videotapes or film reels or 2,000 photos. It's perfect for big collections. You can even send in old DVDs, memory cards, flip phones, or early generation iPhones.
Legacy Box is truly the easiest New Year's resolution you'll ever keep. Just fill your box and send it in. As the world's largest digitizer of home movies and photos, all work is done in the U.S., and we're trusted by over 1 million families.
Start the new year right by rescuing the moments you haven't watched in years. Go to legacybox.com/radio for an incredible 55% off. That's legacybox.com/radio for 55% off.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Peter King, and if there was ever any doubt, today is the day Mother Nature proves it's not always sunny in Philadelphia. Just ask Cyree Phillips, who says the snow and especially ice made him slip, slide, and sorry he drove this morning.
Get my heart racing. I'm a little scared, but I'm just glad I had enough space, and I was pumping the brakes, and I straightened it out, but you can't go over 20 miles an hour because you're going to spin out. And you don't want to risk your life because you want to be outside.
Parts of the Northeast are expected to get a foot or more, with the storm stretching from Missouri to New England. The storm is a triple threat: snow, ice, extreme cold. CBS News meteorologist Shane Hinton.
Temperature is going to be bone-chillingly cold as you make your way to the Midwest today. -6 is what it will feel like in Minneapolis. 7 is what it will feel like in Omaha. As we make our way toward North Carolina, 20-degree feels-like temperatures in Raleigh. And then as we make our way up to Boston, 26 on the thermometer.
The number of customers without power is well past the 800,000 mark. As for flyers, the good news is that there are fewer delays than yesterday. FlightAware says the bad news is that it's because there are more than 10,000 U.S. cancellations because of the storm. Federal officials are doubling down on the claim that yesterday's Border Patrol shooting of a Minneapolis man was self-defense. Commander-at-Large Greg Bovino on CNN's State of the Union.
The fantastic training that our law enforcement partners have, the fact that they're highly trained, prevented any specific shootings of law enforcement. So good job for our law enforcement.
But witnesses and several bystander videos contradict the official version, appearing to show the man holding a cell phone, not a gun, that Bovino says he refused to give up. CBS's Lana Zach.
In a court affidavit, one resident testified, quote, "I have read the statement from DHS about what happened, and it is wrong. The man did not approach the agents with a gun. He approached them with a camera. He was just trying to help a woman get up, and they took him to the ground."
Just when you thought you've heard everything, would you believe that warnings about exploding trees in Michigan
At 11:02, we have 10 degrees downtown at the Gateway Arch. Good morning, I'm Scott Jagow. Our top story, the questions and criticisms are piling up following that fatal weekend shooting by ICE agents in Minneapolis. The 37-year-old Alex Preddy, his death was caught on video from multiple angles, and those videos do not support the federal government's narrative that Preddy was an assassin and domestic terrorist hell-bent on murdering agents. KMOX Democratic analyst Michael Kelly says it's telling that the city's police chief came out and said,
"We don't know what's going on. Our federal partners aren't communicating with us. This is being done for political purposes, and it's not being done by protocol and with training, and it's just so unnecessary and wrong."
Republican analyst John Hancock says he hasn't gotten any word from his federal sources either.
I texted our current and former federal elected officials who I work with, have worked for, have advocated for. I got zero response back.
Hancock says until Trump's fellow Republicans stand up to him and speak out, tragedies like the one in Minnesota may continue to occur. Here we're looking at 6 to 12 inches, depending on where you are in terms of snow cover. MoDOT crews were out all night. They've been out all morning, making sure the highways at least are somewhat passable. Lambert reporting 136 cancellations this morning, but because of the dry snow, very few power outages, less than 100 in the bi-state. Schnucks is open until 5:30 this evening, and all Deerbergs are open till 6. They'll resume regular hours tomorrow. St. Louis firefighters fought a 4-alarm blaze in the 5200 block of Waterman. This was an occupied apartment complex. This is during the storm yesterday. Here's Fire Captain Garen Mosby.
Between Delmar and Forest Park, it'd probably be closed for some time.
No serious injuries reported. The exact number of residents not known, but the city did send in warming buses to keep the residents out of the storm. Now your weather forecast for the rest of Sunday.
Brisk and bitterly cold this afternoon. With snow coming to an end, we'll see those totals ranging 6 to 10 inches. We'll see a high of 15. Then tonight, clearing skies and very cold with a temperature tying the record from 1940. We'll see a low of 7 below zero. Then for the day tomorrow, bitterly cold with plenty of sunshine, a high of 16. And for Tuesday, a little bit warmer with sunny to partly cloudy skies, a high of 30. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brandon Buckingham on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Thanks, Brandon. It is 10 in St. Peters. We still have light snow throughout the region. It's 9 in Florissant, 10 downtown. I'm Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
Now, back to the Great Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
Great to be with you for another hour. Big hour coming, and we are very appreciative of our upcoming guests, Archbishop Mitchell Rozanski, McKelvey Homes President Jim Brennan, Chaim Bloom, the Cardinals President of Baseball Operations, and Missouri Sports Hall of Fame columnist Bernie Miklasz, all with us here in the 11 o'clock hour. But as we always do, and this will be our second to last one, because this is the second to last NFL weekend. We do our NFL picks. It's the AFC and NFC Championships. Let's roll it, Mr. Young, and get ourselves ready. The NFL Films music rolls in the background. As Denver is the site of today's AFC Championship, actually, it's a little warmer there than it is here. Feels like 26 right now in Denver, Colorado. 18 degrees with some sun. That's the situation they face with no precipitation until maybe some snowflakes around 6, but by then they'll be wrapped up. It's the Broncos and the Patriots this afternoon. Now, everybody knows at this point, if they follow along in the NFL, that the Broncos are without their starting quarterback, Bo Nix. He had a fractured ankle in that last game, and so they're going to start Jarrett Stidham. There is a thought that the Broncos might be able to rally here, even with a quarterback capable of managing a game, but hasn't thrown a pass in a couple of years in a professional game. Doesn't mean he hasn't thrown passes in practice. And if they have prepared well enough, and he's been throwing in practice as the backup for a long time, perhaps they can manage this game against a very good Patriots team. Get the crowd on their side, get Denver into a situation where they are protecting a lead and their defense is playing all out, because they can play. I mean, they can flat out play. As a matter of fact, with this spread at 3.5, you might want to consider it. The Patriots, and the spread is falling. It was 4.5. It's now 3.5. I've seen it go from 4 now down to 3.5. You might consider Broncos plus 3.5. You might consider Broncos money line today. At the moment, it's plus 180. Just throwing that out there. Game number 2. And yes, I'm taking Broncos plus 3.5. That is my official pick. Game number 2 is the NFC Championship. It's the Los Angeles Rams who emerged victorious from Soldier Field, beating the Bears last week, against the Seattle Seahawks, who absolutely smoked the 49ers in their divisional round matchup 41-6. How bad was it? The 49ers had 236 yards, and Seattle had 281. If you looked at that, you'd say, somewhat of a close game. No. This game got out of hand. The 49ers lost a couple of fumbles. The 49ers threw an interception. And the Seahawks just are a great disciplined football team. They only had 2 penalties for 5 yards in that game. And they play very well at home. You think Denver's a good home atmosphere. Seattle's that much better. Seattle might be, along with Arrowhead, the 2 best, 2 loudest. Now, all of that is great, but you got to beat a Rams team that has been playing outstanding football this season. The Rams right now are on a roll, but they've played at Seattle, and they lost 38-37. Tells you 2 things. They certainly can get it moving. They can move the chains, but they will give up points. And Seattle, I have to think, is even better than it was back in that December 18th matchup. They're just absolutely rolling right now. They won 41-6 over the Niners, and I think they will win this game and cover the 2.5-point spread tonight. I think it's going to be the Seahawks winning this game over the Rams. Seahawks minus 2.5. We'll take a break. When we come back, we are honored to be joined by St. Louis Archbishop Mitchell Rozanski and the president of McKelvey Homes, a great friend of ours and partner here at KMOX, Jim Brennan. We also have Chaim Bloom joining us on the line at 11:30, Bernie Miklasz at 11:45. Sports on a Sunday morning from the Stifel Sports Studio.
I hear from sellers all the time that they fear they have missed out on the selling market. They are so relieved to learn September, October, and November are strong selling months. With low inventory and hopefully lower interest rates, this fall will be a hot one for real estate. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. You may have heard me say, why pay more than 4 for years? Now it's why pay more than 2, saving you even more money. Call me 314-441-4444. And remember, why pay more than 2?
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri, Kansas, and Nevada.
If you need a garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are open now for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of your choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorstlouis.com.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code RAIN to get up to a $5 per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code RAIN to get up to a $5 per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code RAIN.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here for FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of KMOX, my official sportsbook as well. And they have turned on playoff mode. All customers of FanDuel can get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. So each game day during the championship round, you'll find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you right there in the app. And more boosts just means more ways to level up your playoff bets. So pick the matchups you believe in if you like winner or loser or just the point spreads. Maybe take a shot on an upset. I'm actually looking at the under in a couple of opportunities this week. You could build a parlay that fits the moment. However you want to do it, it's up to you. And then you apply your profit boosts and go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs continue to roll. So visit FanDuel.com/Missouri and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Remember, 21 or older and present in Missouri to play. Opt-in is required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost token, and restrictions apply, including any token expiration or max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
What is it that makes the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid an incredible SUV? Is it the spacious interior that's comfy for the whole crew? Or the capability to go off-road? Maybe it's up to 600-plus miles of range. What if it's all of that and more? What is it then? The all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid. So much more than just another SUV. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
It's about time pros had one partner for the whole job. Why juggle 10 different suppliers when one can do it all? At the Home Depot, you'll save with pricing built for pros. You'll stay on track with job site deliveries, schedule, next day, or same day. And you'll get every size, every finish, every job lot quantity you need. One partner for the entire job. That's how pros get more done. The Home Depot Pro. It's about time.
Now, back to the Great Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
Great to be back with you, and good to be with my friend Jim Brennan, the president of McKelvey Homes, joins us on the line. Jim, we love having you in studio, but we just can't do that today. We got to keep you safe, my man. How are you?
Well, Tom, you know, I used to be a mailman, and Rose and I made it fine to 9 o'clock mass, but I'm enjoying the comfort of my home. But I got to tell you, congratulations on bringing home a victory for the Hoosiers on Monday night.
Buddy, I did my best. I was just, thinking good thoughts. It was an amazing, amazing contest, and thank you very much. It has been a long time coming, that's for sure. And as well as I do, that I love the Cardinals. I love the Blues. I love SLU. I grew up a Mizzou fan. You name it. Battlehawks, Rams winning the Super Bowl back in the day. That one's at the top for me. When your school wins a national championship, I've never been able to feel that before. And, they won it in 87. I was 12 years old at the time. I didn't go to school in Indiana at that time. To win a national championship is something I never thought I would see from Indiana football. And now I'm thinking, how many more can they get?
I'm waiting for the movie. I
think it's very, very possible that we see a film down the road about Fernando Mendoza, about Curt Cignetti, about Indiana, and just kind of weaving through the whole story. It is a remarkable, remarkable sports story, and I appreciate you.
I'm sure Archbishop Rozanski will appreciate that every time he gets interviewed, the first person he thanks is God.
Yes. Let's bring in, actually introduce us to your guest, if you would, the Archbishop Mitchell T. Rozanski.
Archbishop.
Good morning, Jim, and good morning, Tom. Thank you for the opportunity to be with you today.
It is so great to have you on KMOX, Archbishop Rozanski, and thank you for being with us. Jim, you have a wonderful announcement to make about not only the Archbishop, but also what McKelvey Homes is doing for the St. Louis community.
Well, we started a few years ago, Tom, our 125th anniversary. We're the oldest builder in St. Louis, and we started what we call the 1898 Society. For every home we sell, we give $1,898 to a worthy charity. My wife, Rose, says no one should be hungry, homeless, or without health care. And we found out about this wonderful program that Archbishop Rozanski started a couple years ago, the American Catholic Appeal, the annual Catholic Appeal, Affordable Housing Fund. And I got to tell you, they don't ask anybody what their religion is. Archbishop Rozanski tries to take care of everyone and anyone, regardless of their faith. And we are proud to announce that in our fourth quarter, we selected them as the charity, and we sold 29 homes, and I've got a check sitting here that I'm going to be presenting to Archbishop Rozanski for $55,042.
Jim, thank you so much. Thanks to you and Rose and McKelvey Homes for choosing the ACA Affordable Housing Fund. Thanks to you. Another big supporter is Ascension Health and so many others who find affordable housing to be a real cause in our area. Thanks so much.
What started this for each of you, or either of you? Why did this start, the affordable housing?
Well, in 2021, St. Louis Affordable Housing Report Card identified a shortage of 35,000 affordable units for families who were earning below $22,400 a year. And in 2023, we did a study of the social outreach of the Archdiocese of St. Louis, and we found that Catholic parishioners in St. Louis and in the 10 surrounding counties identified affordable housing and homelessness as two of the greatest needs in our area. So we looked at what could we do to start to address these issues, and we came up with the idea of affordable housing, of working with families to get them into homes so that they can build up some equity and have stability in their lives.
This is the Most Reverend Mitchell T. Rozanski, the 10th Archbishop of St. Louis. And Archbishop Rozanski, on a day like today, I know that every day is important, but on a day like today with these freezing temperatures and snow blowing all over the place, certainly we think very deeply about people in this area and their needs, don't we?
We really do, because there are so many who are homeless. But thanks be to God for those who are addressing that issue immediately, particularly with the snow and the freezing conditions that we're having over this weekend, with having shelters for those who are homeless. But we also thank God for the stability that's given to families, particularly to children, who are able to move into homes and have that stability in their own lives, for schooling, for being able to have support services in the neighborhood, but also for contributing to the neighborhood by keeping up their homes in a wonderful way.
Jim, what else should people know about this that you, the Archbishop, and many others collaborated on?
Well, Tom, I got to thank you for increasing awareness. Giving money's one thing, but explaining to others out there the importance of supporting these. You know, Rose and I, Anna Brennan's, have been very blessed, and we really think it's our duty to help others in need. And when we heard about this program, you know, there's nothing like owning a home. It is the American dream. And we were so impressed. And I say all the time, it's all about leadership. And I got to compliment the Archbishop for taking a position and doing something about it, taking action. And we are so impressed with what he's doing. Tom, we've never done this before. And, you know, I always put the big announcements on your show. But, excuse me, Rose and I have decided to go back to back. And for the first quarter of 2026, to also contribute to Archbishop's affordable housing fund for every home McKelvey sells this quarter.
Wow. Thank you for all that you do, Jim. I really appreciate you, Rose, and McKelvey Homes, not only for being a great partner to us here at KMOX, but all that you do for the St. Louis community. And Archbishop Rozanski, I know that you reflect that and echo that. And if I may ask you as well, just you grew up in Baltimore, very similar, I would say, city to St. Louis in terms of size and geographic economics. What is your hope for St. Louis, Archbishop Rozanski, as we enter 2026 here, moving forward?
Tom, thank you very much for this opportunity, and I'd like to echo my thanks to Jim and Rose Brennan and McKelvey Homes for not only the contributions that they gave in the fourth quarter, but also for his promise of contributions in the first quarter of 2026. Thank you, Jim and Rose, for your great generosity. My hope is that we can take so many of these homes that either are abandoned or are not in great condition to bring them up to being able to be lived in and to move families into them who will appreciate being there, who will keep them up, and who will strengthen our neighborhoods in St. Louis and well beyond.
Well said. And Jim, just a final word from you moving forward. I know that you are back with us for 2026, and we couldn't be happier to have McKelvey Homes alongside, but also that you continue to give back to the community makes us very proud to be your partner as well.
Well, it's a win-win, and Tom, we've got some great new communities opening up. As you know, you talk about them every morning, and we've got some great sales closing. But I would be remiss if I did not recognize the King, who was the dance champion last night for the Dancing with the St. Louis Stars. Him and his niece, Katie, won everything. They raised the most amount of money. And it was a memorable performance. Some people thought he looked like Howard Stern, but he was really Prince. You got to see it. You can check it out online, Archbishop, for the Independence Center, helping those with mental illness.
Thank you.
He'll be all over that. The King. Oh, I love it. Jim, it's great to have you on the station, as always. Archbishop Rozanski, thank you very much for your time this morning and for being with us.
Thank you. It's
Thanks,
a privilege and a pleasure.
Thank you to both of you. Sports on a Sunday morning on KMOX. I want to say this before we take a break and talk to Chaim. I know many of you tune in throughout our existence here, and we're one of the oldest sports talk radio stations in the country, if not the oldest, and we listen to Chaim every day at 11:30. But I have tried to bring back more of, if there is an opportunity to speak on behalf of our partners here at KMOX, but also those who are dedicated to giving back to St. Louis, especially on days like this, please reach out. We'd love to give you a little bit of time on the station like we do. Typically, this 11:15 spot is good for us, and we'd love to do that for you as well. So you can always reach out to us. You can send us an email. You can just send it directly to me, tom.ackerman@odyssey.com, and I'd be happy to help out whenever I can. Sports on a Sunday morning, gives me an opportunity to stretch out a little bit longer for 2 hours and be able to have a little more time to give back. So we appreciate all that you all do for us here in the St. Louis area. The greatest city in the world, man. I love this place so much. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to visit with Cardinals president of baseball operations, Chaim Bloom. Now, we're getting closer to the start of spring training. This is very, very close, folks. We are going to see, believe it or not, spring training workouts begin in 2 weeks. That's because the pitchers and catchers for the World Baseball Classic begin reporting on February 9th. And yes, we will have KMOX there. Matt Pauley will be there. Mike Claiborne will be there. John Rooney will be there. Ricky Horton will be there. Our engineer Ryan Schulte will be there. I'll be heading down on March 7th after Arch Madness to catch the final 2+ weeks of spring training and take it home, especially when it comes down to roster cuts, because I think it's going to be an interesting 26-man roster that they're putting together. I'm very curious about Brendan Donovan, so we're going to throw that question to Chaim when we come back as to where things stand right now with Brendan. Keep in mind, he's not going to let anything out of the bag. He's not going to tell us exactly what is happening in terms of trade talks, but he's been very good about explaining the situation. And we're going to hear from Chaim Bloom, the Cardinals president of baseball operations, when we come back. And then Bernie Miklasz, we'll have lots of time for him at 11:45. It's sports on a Sunday morning, coming to you on this snowy Sunday from the Stiefel Sports Studio in downtown St. Louis. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. It's a great time to buy a brand new home, and the Reserve at Wildwood is where you want to be. Park-like setting with front porches on every home, connected trails for exploring, walk to Main Street and Wildwood Town Center, top-rated Rockwood schools, and legendary McKelvey quality you can count on, featuring James Hardy siding. Visit McKelveyHomes.com and learn what makes the Reserve so special. It's time to move up to McKelvey.
KMOX Weekend at your service. Sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation. For all station contest rules, go to KMOX.com/rules.
Unlock a brighter outdoor space in 2026 with Chesterfield Valley Nursery. Let us be your trusted partner for all your landscaping, lawn, and gardening needs, empowering you to create a haven that brings joy and serenity to your life. From landscape design to property maintenance to our garden center, we're here for you. Houseplants, tree shrubs, organic soil mixes, gardening and plant classes, and more. Chesterfield Valley Nursery's Garden Center has what you need no matter what the season. Visit us weekdays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Saturday hours start in March. Follow us on Facebook or Instagram for all class and sale updates.
St. Louis has a voice.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history.
Martin Luther King was killed by an assassin's bullet tonight.
From moment to memory.
And it's a strike call! A no-hitter for Gibson!
Among those voices, Charlie Brennan.
Well, we've got lots to talk about, despite our listeners' letters to the contrary.
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
This is a message from your sponsor, Intuit TurboTax. This year, file your taxes with TurboTax and hand everything off to one of the thousands of experts who can get you filed online with 100% accuracy. Only available with TurboTax experts. Real-time updates only in the iOS mobile app.
Let's go! You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
It looks like winter finally has arrived. It's really nice weather we were getting. Been nice if we kept it all the way through, but it's time for your furnaces to start breaking. If it happens to you, please give me a call, and we'll get somebody right out there and get your heat real fast. If you choose, it makes more sense to replace your furnace. We can do that next day. So if you need service, give me a call. Bart Inman. It's one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. The easiest number. 314-293-2600. Again, Missouri and Illinois. Only one number. 314-293-2600. Or go online at bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B. Inman with an I.com. God bless.
This is the Gas House Gang from KMOX.
Bernie Miklasz joins the Gas House Gang Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon on America's Sports Voice, KMOX. Now, back to the Great Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
In fact, here's a Gas House Gang guest right here. The Cardinals president of baseball operations, Chaim Bloom, joins us. This is his home, though. Sports on a Sunday morning in the 11:30 slot, just like John Mozeliak and Walt Jocketty before him, and we appreciate it very much. Chaim, how are you this morning?
I'm doing all right. It's good to be on with you.
Good to be with you. I hope you're staying out of the snow and everything is good where you are.
Yeah, staying warm inside seems like the smart bet right now.
Yeah, good move. Let's talk about this club and just coming out of the winter warm-up, coming out of the baseball writers' dinner and all of that activity. What was your reaction to the fans and everything that was asked of you? And also visiting with players. I think a lot of people don't realize that's an opportunity for you also to meet a lot of the players that you've brought along in person.
Yeah, glad you point that out because that is actually one of the things I was looking forward to. You know, despite obviously so much having happened, so many conversations and, you know, a lot of interaction with our players, there were a couple guys that I got to meet for the first time at winter warm-up and actually shake their hand and look them in the eye. And the guys that I know, just to be able to reconnect with them and have some conversation. You know, it's a busier weekend than it might look from the outside, so you're running around a little bit, but it was nice to be able to catch a couple calm moments with some of our guys, returning guys, new guys, and just get to know them a little better.
I had a great opportunity to talk to some of your younger guys that I had not met before. Joshua Baez, one of them. Leonardo Bernal, the other one. Boy, I talk about a couple of guys who are well-spoken, who respect the game, big guys, and tremendous athletes. I think there are two right there that jumped out at me that I just have this sense that a big, exciting road is ahead of them.
We certainly hope so. They both had great years, and that's part of why, obviously, that they were there with Joshua having earned his way into the 40-man roster, obviously Leo as well, and Leo also getting recognized for having won a Gold Glove in the minor leagues. And when you talk about something like that, obviously Josh's year, we could talk about each of them, but Josh's year, you don't really see that too often. Guys not only put up the year he had in terms of the power and the speed, but also coming from where he came, where the year prior, really not a very good offensive year, a lot of swing and miss, a lot of issues on the offensive side of the game, and credit to him and to the staff that was working with him. He turned it around and had himself a great year. And then Leo took full advantage of a lot of the resources we were able to provide our catchers this year, and of course he put in the work. And you heard it at the writers' dinner from Patrick Anderson, our AA manager, who had him the year prior in Peoria and got to see that growth and that maturation firsthand. And he's really come a long way. Obviously, a lot more left in each of their journeys, we hope, but really, really cool to see them earn their way to that event and to getting some pats on the back at it.
There are a lot of prospect lists that come out, and I think one that people really anticipate is Baseball America, which has busted out its prospect list. And when you go online to look at it, the first picture that you see is J.J. Weatherholt. I do believe he's number 5, though, out of their top 100. Then Liam Doyle, 34, Raniel Rodriguez at 37, Baez, 87, Bernal, 98. That's 5 in the top 100, Chaim, and that's 2 catchers right there. In fact, you have a lot of catchers in your organization right now, don't you? That's a nice list. What do you make of it when you get high ratings coming back to you like that with your prospects?
Well, the reality is you try not to put too much emphasis on it because ultimately, they, as much as we respect the folks that do the hard work over there at those outlets, they don't determine what happens with these players. The players determine it. Obviously, we have some hand in that as an organization. And, sometimes those rankings go, quote unquote, in your favor. Sometimes they don't. However, I do think it's an indicator of what some of those guys have accomplished. And it's really good when we aren't the only ones noticing what they're doing. And, when you think about how Baseball America puts together their list, it's a highly respected publication. They do spend a lot of time. They see players themselves. They talk to a lot of people. So it's really nice to see those guys getting some recognition and well-deserved, as you point out. the catchers, we feel good about the catching depth we have on our big league roster, and you're talking about two guys on that list who aren't even there to impact it yet. So it's nice to have that kind of depth in the organization at a very difficult position to find it.
That is, again, Baseball America putting, I'm told that MLB Pipeline might have had JJ at 5 and Baseball America's got him at 3. But at any rate, you got 5 in the top 100. Let me ask you about Yadier Molina coming back. Now, the last time we saw this happen, quite honestly, we didn't see much or hear much of Yadi. What is different this time around? I know we saw him in the dugout with Ollie as he comes in as a special assistant.
Yeah, I think just having had a chance to get a little taste of what it would be like to come back last year, from what I saw, I think it really kindled the fire in Yadi. Not that ever went out. I mean, this guy, as everybody knows, certainly knows better than I do. He's a baseball guy through and through, one of the best baseball minds of his generation as a player. And look, he's always been a Cardinal, or at least since he entered professional baseball. And from our standpoint, as I said before, he's always going to be part of the family regardless. This is just a path that we were able to work on together to be able to get him integrated a little more formally. When you have a resource like that, wearing your uniform and part of the family, you do want to find ways to have him impact the organization more formally. And we know with his passion for the game, that's something that excites him. So we were able to put our heads together and figure out some avenues for him to do that we think are going to be great for him as he moves into this next phase of his career, and also have a chance to really positively impact our organization.
Chaim Bloom is with us, Cardinals president of baseball operations. I've asked you in the past if you were in any rush to make a move, and you indicated not really at this point, still evaluating the trade market. I know the name Brendan Donovan comes up a lot. People ask you about Donnie. Where does it stand right now just in terms of your feelings about Donovan, the market for Donovan? I don't know how much you can go into about Donnie, but when I ask about moving along in the trade market, certainly I'm referring to Donovan, who gets mentioned a lot out into the media. I'm just curious kind of how you feel about the whole situation.
Yeah, and those mentions are obviously understandable, both given just where we are and some of the things we've been doing, and also obviously the player, the person. Everybody's heard me say all the wonderful things that I had to say about him, and none of those obviously have changed on field, off field. He's everything you'd want to have in your uniform, and that's why we're placing a really high value on him, and also doing our jobs and listening. When it comes to the market, it's been interesting the way the offseason has gone, where you kind of have seen this more recent flurry and a little bit of a late flurry, where it's usually not around winter warmups that some of the biggest offseason signings, and then the week to follow some big trades happen. Every offseason has a little bit of a different pace. This one has had some periods of high activity and then some periods where it feels like you're sitting around waiting. Look, if as much as we want to keep our ears open, we also want to make sure we're doing right by the organization. In this case, if we were to contemplate something with Donnie, obviously we'd put a pretty high price tag on it, given all those things that I said about the player he is and how much he means to us. Certainly not something where we're necessarily looking to do it. Again, just us being responsible and doing our jobs, especially given where we are and all those goals that we have over the long haul. All that said, as we get closer to spring training, you don't want to let this drag on one way or the other. We don't want uncertainty or a lack of clarity hanging over our camp. We've, I think, done a nice job this offseason, obviously bringing a lot of clarity to our situation and removing some of those barriers that keep focus away from what matters most and focus away from baseball and from winning when we get to spring training. So certainly we'd like to do that. I'm not really someone who believes in coming out and making big pronouncements as far as deadlines or anything like that, because I think we're mostly just fooling ourselves, because you never know what's going to happen day to day. But certainly, to the extent that this is bringing a little bit of a lack of clarity, it's not something we want. Again, not something that we are proactively out there looking to do, just us being responsive to interest in our players as we would with anybody.
That's very helpful just to sort of paint the picture in the situation that you're in right now. And we've talked a lot about a right-handed bat too. Versatility would be a plus for that right-handed bat. Does it need to be an experienced major league veteran bat? Not blocking anyone's progress necessarily, but somebody that could fit right in and be that voice that you could lean on at times.
I wouldn't say it has to be. I do think there's some value to having exactly what you described, especially as, we have moved some key veteran presences out of that room. You want to make sure you have guys that your young players can lean on. But of course, also, as we look around, I've said it all winter. I think we've been able to do it on the pitching side where, first and foremost, we want to make sure that we are just stacking as much young talent as we can together, because we know that ultimately that group, as it comes together and forms our core, is what's going to help us win. So you really are looking for both. I think they're both nice to have. It's not necessarily an either or, but, I do think it is going to make sense to add some kind of presence on the position player side. I think as the offseason's getting closer to an end and spring training is getting closer and closer, you start to see some of those markets clarifying. Certainly, it feels like the conversations that we've had in the free agent market are at least moving along a little bit. Nothing is imminent for us there, but I do think it's something we'll do at some point.
Just one last quick thing that just kind of hangs over baseball. When I think of the economics of the game, I just don't know what the next, I don't know, anybody does necessarily, what the next couple of years are going to look like. I mean, the TV uncertainty right now is one thing, but I just feel like we're entering a very, very important negotiation here between the owners and players. Just your overview of where things stand right now and where baseball is.
Yeah, and on some level, it's all wrapped up together in some sense, right? Because everything ties together when you talk about the economics of the game. It's obviously a hugely important topic. It's important to all 30 clubs, certainly very much to us. And you alluded to some of the things that are happening now in the media landscape, which are not hitting every club equally and obviously are out there in terms of impacting us. First and foremost, very happy. We know we're going to be able to deliver those games to our fans. But as far as what it means in terms of everything behind the scenes, obviously all that's still up in the air. There's a lot of issues there. We all have our own opinions, and I'm happy that the league is very engaged on this. My view of it is two things that, I've talked about this a bunch. Number one, it is something that really has to be worked on, and that everybody who has a stake in this and loves the game and is involved in it from all quote unquote sides have to come together and figure out the best way to keep this rolling, because in so many other ways, our game, our product is in such good shape, and we just need to make sure that we're able to bring it everywhere it needs to be and that everybody can compete. Obviously, how we do that, how we ensure that for the long term, there's so many different things that go into that. For as many difficult things as land on my desk, some mornings definitely wake up, even though I might have some opinions, I wake up relieved that that's not one of them, and a lot of those things are happening well above me, but certainly we're very attentive to them. And we know that, there are some real differences here, and there are some obstacles that might create for a team that's not in a massive market like us. But the other thing I believe is that can never be an excuse. And as far as our baseball operation is concerned, regardless of what we might like to see happen in terms of the larger economic picture of the game, regardless of what obstacles the status quo puts in our way, we just can't be focused on them. That's never been how teams in markets like ours, and it's never been how this organization has won, is by worrying about that. This organization's always won by being creative and maximizing its own circumstances. So as much as you're aware of some of those challenges, and as much as you might have to operate a little bit differently to win in a world that's set up the way this one is, that's our challenge, and we're never going to let that be an excuse. And it's honestly something that's really motivating, in spite of whatever challenges are out there, to make sure we get up and find the way for our organization to do it our way and get back to where we need to be.
Appreciate your time very much today, as always, on these Sundays. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch you real soon, Chaim Bloom. Thank you.
Sounds good, and stay warm and stay safe as you're getting to and from work.
You as well. Chaim Bloom, Cardinals president of baseball operations. We'll be back in just a moment. Bernie Miklasz is going to join us. Sports on a Sunday morning from the Stifel Sports Studio.
Two legendary bands. One massive night of classic rock. Foreigner, performing the songs that defined a generation.
You're as cold as ice.
And Leonard Skinner, bringing Southern rock anthems to St. Louis. Foreigner, Leonard Skinner, coming to Hollywood Casino Amphitheater August 6. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
This is Corey from Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. There's never a good time for your heating system to stop working. If yours does, no matter what time or day, Air Comfort Service offers 24/7 emergency HVAC service. Contact our award-winning team for 5-star heating service and stay in your comfort zone. For heating and 24/7 emergency service, contact Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation at aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code RAIN to get up to a $5 per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code RAIN to get up to a $5 per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code RAIN.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I was ordering food for the office from the same few places for too long.
For workplaces suffering with office food fatigue, every day's a struggle.
Before starting Easy Cater, I assumed having no good vegan options for Carl in finance was normal.
Easy Cater is designed to treat OFF with a huge variety of favorite restaurants, plus tools to help you meet dietary needs and stay on budget. Used daily, one platform lets you save time and shine. Ask your app store about Easy Cater or start an order at easycater.com.
Now, back to the Great Bar Sports on a Sunday morning on 104.1 KMOX. From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, here is Tom Ackerman.
10 minutes on the clock with my man, Bernie Miklasz, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. What's up, Bernie?
Been listening to a really good show on KMOX. It's been around a little while, called Sports on a Sunday Morning. I've been enjoying it.
Well, thank you. Feels good to do it. Last week we were at the winter warm-up, and we had all Cardinals. We had a great time with it, but it is nice to get back to the rotation of Mizzou and Illinois and SLU and Blues, and then, of course, all that we do with the AFC NFC Championship picks. Who you got today? Broncos, Patriots, and then you got Rams, Seahawks.
You know, I wrestled with both of them. I really like New England a lot, but I don't. Sean McVay has been pretty amazing in his career. You know me, Mr. Research. When he was at New Orleans, when his teams had to start a backup quarterback, I mean, they were 12-9 straight up, and against the spread for those who do that, it was 14-7. So he's had to deal with this situation many times, and they've done well. So I expect Jarrett Stidham is going to start for the injured Bo Nix. I expect him to play solidly, to play well, because that's what Sean Payton's background tells us. He's a great quarterbacks coach. But on the other hand, Mike Vrabel, this team he's put together, or he didn't put it together, but this team he's coaching, 8-0 on the road. They beat 3 or 4 good teams on the road. They're mentally tough. They're physically tough. Dre May, what I thought was interesting is that he got beat up in the Chargers game, but he stuck his nose in there and kept fighting and made some big plays. Then he was battling the inclement weather and the great Houston defense. And again, he had some fumbles. People are talking about, he's shaky. He wasn't shaky, man. It's just a tough game. First time he's in the playoffs. And the thing of it is, in both cases, he was at his best when they needed him to make a play. So this guy statistically was the best passer in the National Football League this year. So I look at Vrabel's record and what the Patriots are against the spread this year. I mean, just amazing record and stuff. I think they're going to win. I think it's going to be tight. I really do. I think it's going to be tight because I have that much respect for Denver. But I would take New England, and their defense has gotten much better. Their running game since the 15th week of the season is number 2 in the NFL. So they can beat you in a number of ways. Now, the other one, man, I don't know, because I think Seattle's ready to put a whooping on the Rams. But on the other hand, Sean McVay seems to have Seattle's number. And their defense does too. You know, they intercepted Sam Darnold, the Seattle quarterback, 4 times in the first game this season, and then 2 times in this late season game where Seattle won 38-37 in overtime. In both cases, the Rams basically blew the game. But Seattle is just on a rampage, no pun intended. And I don't particularly care for the way the Rams offense has functioned down the stretch. They were like 3-3, final 6 regular season games. They by their standards, they were really kind of sporadic and inconsistent. I think Matthew Stafford's hurt with that sprained finger on his throwing hand. So I think it's going to be Seattle, but and I know this is trying to sound like I'm going to have it both ways, but I'm not. I'm honestly torn about this game. But in the end, I'll take Seattle.
Yeah, I think that's a well-said breakdown there. Seattle, and I've got Seattle and Denver actually winning this thing. I just have this feeling they're going to pull this thing out somehow, some way, you know, and I'm with you on the coach. I just think he's phenomenal. I really do.
I thought, you know, when the line came out on this, at first it was Denver was getting 5.5, and that's been bet down to 3.5. So there's been a lot of money coming in on the Broncos. And like what I wrote the other day when I made picks, I said, I think New England's going to win, but I would bet, at that time it was 4.5. Now it's 3.5. I'm like, I think Denver can cover this game. I don't see a lopsided game at all. I think it's going to be really, really close. I'm looking forward to it.
It'll be fun. And then the second half of our conversation, I wanted to ask you about Chaim. I just chatted with him. He sort of reinforced the thought that, you know, they're not in any rush to trade Brendan Donovan. They're in a very good position. They're listening to all of the offers for Donnie. Could they start the season with Donnie and wait until the trade deadline, Bernie? You think that's open?
I think there's more of a chance in that I would have thought. You know, at one point, you know, I thought it was going to be close to 100%. Then I think I adjusted. I was asked on KMOX, one of our shows, and I said, 80%, maybe 75%. I think it's even lower now because Chaim Bloom's doing this the right way. You know, the fact that he values Donovan, there's no reason whatsoever to sell low on Donovan. I've advocated trading Brendan Donovan, but I think people sort of, you know, take that the wrong way. I think Brendan Donovan is a terrific Cardinal, and he's a really, really good player. And I think even in this rebuild, he's got tremendous value to the Cardinals. So if Chaim Bloom doesn't get what he wants, if he set a pretty high price tag, he doesn't get it, well, then he should hang on to Brendan Donovan. You don't trade him just to trade him. You don't settle. You don't settle for 75% on the dollar or 75 cents on the dollar. Or whatever analogy. You just don't do that. He's a guy that can help your team and help the young players. So, would it create a little bit of adjusting? Let's just say he's back. Well, J.J. Weatherholt's the third baseman if Donovan is the second baseman. I don't know what that means for Nolan Gorman because Alec Burleson is a left-handed DH. So if Gorman batted right-handed, you could play with that a little bit, but they're both left-handed bats. One thing is Lars Nootbaar, you know, if he's not ready to go at the start of the season, you could put Brendan Donovan in left field and Gorman could play, not every game, but him and Sajasi could play at third. And eventually, Tom, if let's just say Donovan stays, eventually this will swing around to Jordan Walker as well, because if Jordan Walker, you know, can't hit and he's having big time problems again, I know they want him to play because it is a rebuild year, but one way they could go, if it's kind of we're going to have to do something here. One way they could go is, Donovan in left, Newtbar in right, and then that would, let you have Gorman and Shajacy handle in third, with Donovan staying at second.
Yeah,
I got that screwed up. I'm sorry. I think you know what I meant, though.
Yeah, no, totally. And they have some versatility there. They really do. It should be interesting to see how this all plays out. And as he said, for those of you that missed it, you want to go back and listen, he said he'd like to have some clarity here pretty soon. I don't think he wants to go into Jupiter not knowing one way or the other. It's either they're going to have him or they're not.
Right.
And
right. And Newtbar's a wild card in this too, because what if they trade him? Then you don't have any traffic jams, because I screwed that up trying to explain it, and I apologize. But there's a lot of ways they can go. And listen, man, I think that I certainly, I'm not going to say it's going to happen, but I think there's a chance we could see Josh Baez up here after the All-Star break, which would further kind of give them additional options and choices what to do with the outfield. So it's kind of a fluid situation, but man, I got no problem with Donovan coming back. I trust Chaim Bloom. If he's not getting offered enough, I trust Chaim Bloom's judgment on that.
I mean, what a great bat and player in person to have during this whole thing. And he's not afraid of being part of a rebuild. There's no doubt about that. Bernie, stay warm. I'm going to get back on the highways here and head home, and I plan on not going anywhere for the rest of the day, watching the AFC and NFC Championship and eating some food.
Sounds like a plan. Just get there safely. Then you'll be in splendor.
Yep.
So
the key is to go slow and take it easy.
Right.
But if you don't have to be out there, don't go out there, folks, for sure. Bernie, have a great rest of your day, bud. It's always great to have you on. Bernie Miklasz with us on Sports on a Sunday morning. He's sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. Got to follow him on YouTube. He's got some unbelievably great videos, and he always does a wonderful job wherever he contributes, including the Gas House Gang, which I will be back tomorrow with Chris Ranji at noon for that show, and Bernie joins us on Tuesday. Tuesday night, big game, Billikens and George Washington. I just saw they released $5 tickets for that. Get on that, immediately. So Tuesday night's going to be incredible. Thanks for joining us. Sports on a Sunday morning from the Stifel Sports Studio.
Playoff mode is on with FanDuel right now. All customers get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day, and that's been going on for a while now. So during the championship,